What's up, guys? Phillip Enriquez here for the SayWhatchaLike Sports Podcast, kicking off the Week 14 edition of the show for the 2017 NFL regular season. So you know what that means? There's just 4 games left on the slate for each and every NFL team, and then we got to get ready and gear up for them playoffs. But before we do that, I want to take the time to go back in time, if you will, because I was going through some of my old stuff, some of the old recordings from last season, the 2016 NFL season, and I found something that I never got a chance to upload to any platform, not SoundCloud, not YouTube, not anywhere. And I found that 1 year later, I think it's still particularly relevant to a discussion that's going on today. Because with the whole Ezekiel Elliott 6-game suspension, Dak is taking all the bullets. He's taking all the hits like a piñata. Everybody's kind of down on Dak, saying he can't do it without Zeke. So I think the truth has really came out that the better of the 2 rookies was Ezekiel Elliott. He was the more valuable offensive piece for the Dallas Cowboys last season. But don't tell Skip Bayless that, the fake Dallas Cowboys fan. I'll get into that when I play the lost episode. But as you probably already know, Skip ain't a real Cowboys fan. He's often just trying to cause division amongst Cowboys fans and even within the ranks of the Dallas Cowboys team itself. It's an old trick he's been playing since the 90s if you followed him. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and bring that all to light in the lost episode. And again, I just feel like it's the perfect time to put this up onto the channel here on YouTube. I recorded it exactly a year ago, and I talked about how I felt that Ezekiel Elliott was more valuable to the Cowboys offense than Dak Prescott, and he was the real MVP. And again, this isn't a knock on Dak. I'm just explaining to you guys how Ezekiel Elliott just was that piece that put us over the top last year, and that's the reason why the Cowboys and Dak Prescott are struggling this year with Zeke having the 6-game suspension. And as you can tell, Skip Bayless, he's kind of quieted down that noise about Dak is the next Tom Brady and this and this and that. And look, Dak's going to be an excellent quarterback. He already is very good. He just needs some pieces around him is all. He cannot carry the team on his back, at least not yet, in just season 2, his sophomore season. There's just no way. And we're seeing it play out in front of our very eyes. So without any further ado, guys, let me get into this video. Let's talk a little bit about Dak. Let's talk a little bit about Zeke and what they mean to this Dallas Cowboys offense from exactly 1 year ago. And then y'all can see just how prophetic the Say What You Like Sports Podcast can be.
Welcome back, Cowboys Nation. Phillip Enriquez for Say What You Like Podcast, and I want to talk to you about a little something. I had to come home today after work and turn on my TV here, and I take a look at Undisputed and Skip Bayless once again pretending to be a Dallas Cowboys fan on national television and lie to all the Cowboys fans like he's on our side. But if you take a closer look, you'll notice he's always trying to divide Cowboys Nation. I mean, first it was pitting Tony Romo over here against Dak Prescott over here, and why it's going to rip this team in half and blow up the chemistry, and we got to pick a side and do all this madness, and Stephen Jones versus Jerry Jones, and well, now he's found his new target. He's going to do Ezekiel Elliott versus Dak Prescott. Who's the real MVP? And, the bottom line is they're both the real MVP. But if you want to break it down, number one, Cowboys fans, you got to be smart enough to realize this guy's just trying to divide us. This is not a house divided. There's no reason for it. We're number 1 in the power rankings. We're number 1 in the standings. And we're number 1 in America because we're America's team. Don't ever forget that. But back to the subject at hand here. And that's this. It's hard to argue with Skip Bayless. Dak Prescott can possibly be called underrated. I mean, some people still view him as a 4th-round quarterback, rookie quarterback. And I think he's surpassed that now. It's very hard to still, call him that. But he's got a 19-2 touchdown to interception ratio, which is out of this world. And that goes along with 5 rushing touchdowns. So he can make plays through the air, or he can make plays running, in the end zone with his feet. So he's a 68% completion percentage passer. To go along with this, 2,974 yards on the season. And basically, he's still got a quarter of a season to go, so he's going to hit about 3,500 yards. That's definitely MVP caliber numbers. And just the way he's turned this team around as a rookie, and showed that poise after their starting quarterback, Tony Romo, gets hurt, and just to say, hey guys, don't worry, step aside, let Tony Romo heal up, and even if he does, I'm not going to give the starting job back, because we're going to go 11 and run. So let's go ahead and win this thing. So it's hard to argue, but in my opinion, guys, the MVP, who's the real MVP of the Dallas Cowboys? That's the 4th pick in the NFL 2016 draft. That's Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, he's running for 4.9 yards per carry. He's got 12 touchdowns on the season, and to go along with this, 1,285 yards. Again, there's a quarter of a season left. He's going to hit 1,700 yards this season, and if he can put a few touchdowns on it, he's going to be A-OK, and he's definitely going to be a favorite for MVP. He's got a receiving touchdown if you want to add that into the mix, but the bottom line is, he's changed the way defensive coordinators have to play the Dallas Cowboys. When you go into if you're a defensive coordinator and you're going into the week and you're trying to game plan for the Dallas Cowboys offense, he's the one that's going to make it hell on you. Because here's the difference from the Cowboys in 2014, 2015, when in 2014 they were a playoff team, 12-4. There wasn't another team in the NFC that had a better record than us. So you take a look at a guy like DeMarco Murray, who ran for 1,800 yards, had a wonderful season, but he wasn't a game breaker. We couldn't throw, the sweeps. We couldn't throw the little screen passes that go for 70 yards, 60 yards. Ezekiel Elliott is exactly that. He's a home run hitter. Knock it out of the park. And the defensive coordinators cannot take the chance on not defending that guy. You have to have the personnel and you have to have the game plan in place to slow down a player like Ezekiel Elliott. He's completely changed the way defenses play us. Now again, Dak, he takes advantage of that, with this poise. He doesn't turn the ball over. He's perfect for us. This is a perfect storm. But the bottom line is, how do you guys feel, Dallas Cowboys? Let me ask you a question. I'll end with this. I'll end this with the question. When you get into the, usually it's around the middle of the second quarter, and they put in Alfred Morris. Don't you worry a little bit? Like, man, where's 21? Why isn't 21 on the field? I know he needs a breather, but why is Morris in there? Well, because you know what you're losing. And yeah, I know that a lot of Cowboys fans don't want to see Tony Romo back, but he's been there before. He makes big plays. He's a top 10 quarterback when healthy. To me, my only knock on Tony Romo is health. But if he's healthy, he's a top 10 QB. And I'm not throwing any shade on Dak Prescott because we're at 11-1 right now, and we're riding high, Cowboys fans. So I just want to make sure that you guys know, don't fall into the Skip Bayless trap of Dak versus Zeke and who's number one and, Zeke's overrated. We're a few weeks away from hearing that, believe me. Trust me on that one. But what do you guys think? Cowboys fans? NFL fans? Who's the real MVP? Dak or Zeke? I got my money on Zeke.